right, good morning, sunshines.
What's up?
Welcome to another Game of Thrones review, recap, theories, etc. We're doing episodes 3 and 4 today. We're gonna recap 3 kind of fast because 4 was way too exciting.
Trying to contain myself.
3. I know. Ashley's been like squealing all morning. Which is pretty much how I feel about it. But I have my notes here and we're gonna go over episode 3 first. So opening scene, Jon walks in and meets Daenerys for the first time, which I think was super epic because obviously we've been waiting for them to meet.
Everyone was waiting for that moment, right?
Yeah, exactly. Especially since you figure out that Jon is Rhaegar's son or whatever and they're actually related. So Daenerys is his aunt. And so you just know the whole time and you just want her to know that he's like her blood, you know, like they're related or whatever, but he hasn't figured it out yet. And then, okay, I'm not touching my hair. I always do that when my hair's down. I'm like,
honestly, I was telling myself, keep your hands like your
keep your hands together. Okay, and then...
Okay, you know how everyone, I mean, so many people want Jon and Daenerys to get together, despite them being family. What do you feel about that?
Well, I feel that in the books, like a cousin isn't that bad or that far off. Like that's not like a bad thing in this kind of world. I think brother and sister, like Jaime and Cersei, is disgusting in my opinion. And obviously everyone else does too, because that's like incestual. But I feel like is a cousin far enough away? And the Targaryens are known for inbreeding, so it's like I don't feel like it's as bad as the Cersei Jaime thing.
No, 100%. I think in that world it probably would be more easily accepted than Cersei and Jaime, obviously. But I still can't let go of my I guess my cultural ways and vibes. I'm like, no!
Didn't they want
Jon and Daenerys, no!
So I think it's more normal nowadays. I don't think that would be strange in this world. I don't know if they would point out as like incestual.
Do you personally want it to happen though?
I don't know. Well, the last like recap after the episode, the director, whoever he was like, oh yeah, there was some heat between Jon and Daenerys. They're starting to get attracted to each other. And I was like, is that on purpose? Like, really? Are you sure?
I know we're talking about episode 3, but even that comment that Davos made in episode 4.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, and then that chemistry in the cave, like they definitely are. And I hope they're just doing it to appease the fans that kind of want to see that happen, but I don't think I want to see that happen. One thing about episode 3, seeing Daenerys and Jon meet for the first time, as bomb as it was, it kind of made me realize how much more I prefer Jon over her. Jon first walked in, Miss Sunday is repeating, all, you know, Oathbreaker, Queen of this, the Unburned, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, yeah, I'm Jon, King of the North.
I'm just Jon, I'm just here to help out.
And I'm like, that's my dog. Like,
he's like humble.
So humble, I love him. And Daenerys, I like her too, but she just, she's a queen. She's a queen.
Yeah. That's why I feel like even though technically right now I feel that Jon's Targaryen blood would have him as more of a right to the throne right now than her.
Because he's a male?
Yeah, because he's a male and he's Rhaegar's son. And Rhaegar was closer. Oh no, she would be the Mad King's daughter, so I don't know if that would
But Rhaegar is the Mad King's son. I mean, Rhaegar would have gotten the throne over her and then it would have been passed to his son, before, you know?
Yeah.
So,
sure. Yeah. So technically, but then I'm like, so Jon and Daenerys need to get married. That's the only way that would work. But then I feel like Daenerys is too like, no, I am the queen. I don't feel like she would ever step down for a king. Who knows?
I don't know what's gonna happen. I guess that's really far into the future anyway. But I guess we'll see if they get together. Comment below if you think they get together. Like they're talking like it's freaking my channel.
Let us know. Okay, and then we have, the dragons pop up, so Jon sees the dragons for the first time, and then I thought it was interesting, and I saw this in I was watching like other recaps and stuff, that Daenerys like mentions the names of the dragons, and one of them is Rhaegar or Rhaegon or something, named after her brother, and I thought that that was like a little teaser, like, oh, that's his dad, that's Jon's dad, so.
They're definitely going to reveal that lineage. They keep hinting at it. All right? They just keep hinting at it.
And now Bran's in Winterfell and he hasn't told anyone. I'm like, Bran, can you get some useful information?
Why has no one sent a freaking raven to Jon already? Like, Arya made it, Bran's there, like.
This is news. We need to tell Jon. And I'm like, and anyway, I guess that's episode 4 too. But
I know.
Bran, share some information. Like, you know everything and you're just like, oh, I'm just going to give vague little hints about nothing.
Episode 4 talk. Let's wait. Episode 4 talk.
I thought it was interesting in episode 3. Okay, they're talking, and then Sir Davos almost says something about Jon coming back from the dead, but Jon like gives him a look, and then they don't say anything else about it. But I think that would give Jon even more credit to be like, I died and came back to life. Like, I'm just as cool as you. I can make the impossible happen too. Like you with your dragons, Daenerys. You know. So I feel like they should have said something about it, but I guess that wouldn't be weird.
I think, you know what's crazy? Melisandre was there. I mean, she's in hiding, I guess, whatever, but she could have been like, no, this really happened, you know?
Yeah.
Because I feel like just on their word, they're already strangers. She doesn't know who they are. She doesn't know if he's even a good guy.
Yeah.
And so for them asking her for this help, talking about the White Walkers, which already seems unimaginable, and then saying, I also rose from the dead, they're like, okay, what you sipping on?
This
like,
guy's insane.
Yeah, what you smoking?
Yeah.
So I think it would have discredited them more than, you know. But if Melisandre would have came down, maybe it would have helped the cause.
Right.
I don't know.
Oh, and in episode 3, Sansa and Bran.
Oh.
they finally meet up. She hugs Bran. Bran's an emotionless, like, empty shell of a human now. I'm like, what are you? Why?
He's like becoming this otherworldly being. I feel like he's not human, you know? I mean, there's so many crackpot theories about Bran, and
there's so many things that Bran could be, because I feel like he's so mysterious right now. They're like holding back almost.
No, exactly.
Like revealing what he is. And I just feel like he's in Winterfell now. I'm like, can you tell someone that Jon's real heritage is a Targaryen, and can we get that out?
Can you tell someone that Littlefinger is responsible for father's death?
I know, exactly.
That's why I like, with him being there, I just kind of want to be like, I know everything. Bam, 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 you know? Yeah. But he's so far removed from it now because he sees this much bigger picture. I feel like that's why he's just kind of like...
He's seeing so much more, so it's kind of like, what do I isolate and talk about? We had Sam cures Jorah in episode 3 as well, and that was cool. Like, I feel like it should have been more complicated than that to cure grayscale, because I'm like, oh, this ancient disease that's been just destroying everyone for ages, and all you had to do was cut it off. Like, no one think of this before.
Part of me was like, okay, that was way too easy, way too simple. But then also I was relieved that they didn't drag that out for a long time.
Yeah,
like now Jorah can meet up with Daenerys. He can get into the action. And
then last thing that I have written down is Jaime takes over the Tyrells and kills Olenna, the oldest Tyrell, who was like, by the way, I killed your son. Bye. She was just like, she just had to get that last word, and she was like, by the way, Joffrey was evil, and I'm the one that killed him.
Yeah, I
literally love her character though. I'm so sad she's gone. I'm
such a good character.
Yeah.
When Jaime came there to kill her, he's like, oh, you know, she wanted me to do this, she wanted me to do that, but I convinced her just to take this poison. And then she relays that information. I thought he was gonna just like, I thought he was gonna
chop off her head.
Because he just walks out. Pissed. He was so pissed. But like,
especially since he like bartered for a lesser sentence for her, basically. But
that was definitely the way to go, though. Lady Olenna, even in death,
badass. Okay, we're gonna move on completely to episode 4 now. Episode 3 recap.
Finally.
And okay, I thought the first scene I think is Bran and Littlefinger, or Bran. I don't know. Littlefinger gives Bran a dagger.
I feel like Littlefinger knows that he's not worth anyone's time. Like, he has no point to come from. Like, him talking to Bran in the beginning, he's like trying to find some leverage.
I thought he was like sucking up to him. He's like, oh,
exactly.
Here's a dagger from
that's why he called him the Lord of Winterfell. He's like, just in case, you know, because you're a son, you might take the throne. You know, he's trying to just be on everybody's good side
and everything.
And Bran,
I know he's like thinking something in his head, because Littlefinger's always planning. He's never just like chilling. You know, I know he's thinking of something to do. So next, we have the Arya and Sansa reconnecting moment, which I thought was cool. How Arya got into the castle. I'm like, I love Arya so much. She's like, she's literally my favorite character with Tyrion. Oh my god. Their meeting was. I thought that it was not emotional. Because I feel like Sansa kind of cried when she saw Bran. She was like, oh, yeah, okay. And then they just kind of like, they said something kind of catty to each other, and then they hugged. And I'm like, y'all should be sobbing hysterically. You haven't seen each other since I saw Ned get his head chopped off. And I'm like, literally, it's been 5 or 6 seasons or whatever, and they haven't seen each other.
I feel like you're thinking about you and your sisters, because Arya and Sansa never got along, and I get it, because I'm like, that's me and my sister. So I feel like it was a warm enough moment, because it's like, I'm happy you're alive, I love you and my sister.
But no sisters get along. Like, I feel like
not like them though.
I still feel like they've been through so much together. But I feel like the point of that maybe was that like Arya and Sansa have been through so many things that have hardened them, and so they're not soft anymore. They're not like girls anymore. They're like Arya's a hardened warrior. Like Sansa's been like married off like a cow and just like a breeder to what she married. She almost married Joffrey. She had to marry Tyrion, and then she married Ramsay, and now she's just like, listen, I'm just gonna be my own woman right now, Lady of Winterfell. So I feel like they're both like they had to grow up fast.
But that moment, one of my favorite moments from this. There's so many good moments in this episode. Oh my god!
Well, we haven't got to the battle yet. But
I know when Arya is sparring with
Brienne.
Yes, and Sansa's watching.
So good.
No, it's hilarious because
so satisfying.
she it's so funny because she's like, oh yeah, you know, Joffrey, did you get to kill Joffrey? No, like he's on my list. And she laughs like, ha ha ha. And even Arya kind of laughs with her. And then later it's repeated when Bran says, oh, Cersei's on Arya's list. And she's like, wait, there's a real list. And then she sees her fight and she's like, oh my God, like this is a real list. And she's actually killing people on this list.
I thought it was funny how like Sansa finally meets her brother and sister again, and like her brother's some freaky psychic tree guy, and then Arya's an assassin. So she's like, oh my, what has happened to my little siblings? You know
that look she gave at the end, like when she's watching her fight and she walks away, I felt like there was so much jealousy in that look. What did you think?
Really?
I thought she was jealous.
But Arya's always trying to be a fighter. You know what I mean? Sansa's never wanted.
Well, I know, but now think of everything Sansa's gone through, being raped, like just being passed along. She's never in control that way, and I feel like she's like, Arya always used to be this person. Now look at her. She can take care of herself. I have people take care of me. I feel like Bran comes back with some supernatural ability. Arya's come back a badass, and Sansa's just like,
but she's the Lady of Winterfell. She's like at a point of power right now. So I feel like true. At least that's a little bit of reward for her.
Yeah. And to give her some credit, if anything, she's definitely learned how to politic, you know?
Yeah.
She knows how to work this world. Yeah.
She's been in the world of the upper class or whatever.
Yeah, so that's one thing she has.
Okay, and then we have the battle. And I knew it was going to happen. As soon as I saw Jaime on the battlefield, I was like, this dragon's about to come some shit up. Like, I knew it. I knew it was going to happen. And I was waiting for it. And even all the Dothraki are like there at the top of the hill. I'm like, give me a dragon. If you don't give me a dragon right now, I'm gonna be so mad. And I'm just like sitting there, and literally me and Miles are watching the episode together, and I even like got to the end of the bed, and he was like, are you excited, babe? And I'm like, yes, I have to be closer to the TV. And I've got it cranked up all the way. I'm like 2 feet from the TV like this. And the dragon comes, and it's so gratifying. And you're like, thank you for finally using a dragon.
That was... Oh my God.
And I knew like when she was so mad that she had lost all the ships, and she lost the upper hand that she thought she had, and she was like, I'm doing it my way now. We're gonna burn some shit down.
And that, you're right, that was so gratifying. Seeing that dragon fly up, seeing the Lannisters being like, oh shit, we're about to lose this one, you know, because the Dothraki are on the field, and I'm like, oh my God. And then the way he's like flying overhead and he shoots the fire, it's like a beam going through the land. It was just like,
I thought it was interesting that he could aim. Like, is she aiming him, or is he just going for it? Does he know that he's not hitting the Dothraki? I was like, what's the dragon doing here? Does she have like a secret like finger, like Morse code on him? Like, how is she directing what he's doing?
I was looking kind of thinking along the same lines. Like, I wonder if there's any type of connection with her and the dragon. The way
maybe like a mental one.
Yeah, kind of like how the direwolves are with the Starks. But they're kind of they warg them. But anyway, I was wondering the same thing.
And then I was annoyed with her because I felt like she was cocky, and then he brought out the gun to shoot down the dragon, and I'm like, no, run, you've already won, like, just get out of the way. And then it shot him, and I feel like that was proving that the dragons are vulnerable, and I feel like it was, like, a dragon's gonna die in this, for sure.
One of them.
Hopefully not the main one, because I really like Drogon.
Yeah.
But I feel like that was like showing that they can kill a dragon. So
did you have, or anyone else have, like a conflict of emotions during this battle? Because I love Jaime's character now. I've come to love Jaime, and
he's evolved, like, finally. Like, at least one of the characters has evolved into nine.
Yeah, and Bronn. I love both of them, but at the same time, I'm like, you got Tyrion and Daenerys over here, and I'm just like, oh my God, I don't want any of these people to die. Yeah. Like, I want Daenerys to win, but I still want them to live in the end. But I was so
pissed. It's such a conflict of interest, though.
Exactly.
Yeah. But then, you know, Bronn's still a badass. I thought he was a sellsword and he was going to run from that battle because they were clearly losing. And then he
I was
shoot
waiting
the
for that moment. He notices the sound. He's like, do you hear that? And then they start seeing him coming. He tells Jaime, you need to leave. And then once the dragon came out, I thought Jaime was going to run.
Me too. I was like, peace out. If I was that whole army, I would have peaced out. I would have been like, nah.
Exactly.
There's no way.
And even after the dragon is like shooting a couple times, I was like, wow, like, I have to give Jaime some credit. But I was giving him respect for staying in that battle, but then he sees Daenerys and he tries to go after her with that spear.
I'm like, are you stupid? Also, why was he trying to charge her with a spear? Throw the spear, Jaime. Like, what are you doing? I was just like, you have her there defenseless before the dragon turns its big ass head. Like, why didn't he chunk it, you know?
I don't know how I felt about that moment. Like, I guess it's war. I guess she got off her freaking dragon, whatever. She's fair game, but it just made me think about Jaime Kingslayer. And I feel like he's redeemed himself so much from that because we've learned so much about his character. But I'm like, nah, you still the same SOB.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, how can you support your sister at this point? It just drives me crazy. Oh, but did you notice that Tyrion, when he was watching the battle happen, he seemed kind of upset? Like, he seemed like distressed. But I feel like he was watching the Lannister army like die. And so
I think that's
he's just sitting there and it's just like hitting him. He's like, I already killed my dad. I betrayed my whole family. Now I'm literally killing my family's army.
He's clearly torn, which makes me wonder how the next episode's going to go with like Jaime and Bronn. Obviously, they're going to end up captives by Daenerys. And
you don't think Jaime?
You think he
was sinking to the ground, like because his armor is so heavy, he can't swim.
But I think people would jump in and get him, or maybe Bronn's in there with him.
Yeah, but I would assume that they would think he died from that dragon burst of fire, and so they would get away.
Maybe he might get away.
So
either way, I think he's alive,
ways, yeah.
but he could get away. But if he doesn't get away, then he'll be captive.
Yeah.
And I could imagine Tyrion. I mean, come on now. When Tyrion was freaking in the dungeons because of Cersei and the allegations of killing Joffrey, Jaime risked his life and released him.
And then he went and killed their dad. I'm like,
and I'm like, but now he kind of is indebted to Jaime in this way. And what if Daenerys has Jaime and Bronn? Like, do you think he would betray her and release his brother? I mean, he loves his brother.
Oh, maybe, yeah, that's so true.
It's interesting. And then I wonder how, I'm just like, I don't know where this is going to go.
There was so many good moments, though. I was very satisfied with that war scene. I was like, finally the dragon does something. And the dragon gets hurt, and you're like, no, poor Drogon. So I wonder if the dragon needs, like, healing time. I also thought it was interesting, and this is just me being, like, a cat owner or whatever, but when Daenerys was trying to pull the spear out of the dragon, he wasn't like, get off me, that hurts, because he was just like, okay, Mom's gonna get this out. I don't know, is that a weird thought to have? I was like, oh, what a nice dragon.
Just a little. No, honestly, when I was watching it, the first thing I thought when the Dothraki clashed on with the Lannister army, I was like, oh, those poor horses.
Yeah, that's what I was telling Miles. I was like, imagine if this was a real battle, like how many horses died.
Oh, it's so sad.
Smash into the spear like that.
Just ran straight into the freaking spear. I'm just like,
Okay, this is about to overheat, so we have to wrap it up. I thought that the next preview, I was talking about the Night King, and then it says Bran sees a vision of the army of dead heading towards Eastwatch, which I thought was interesting because I really thought this season was going to be all about kind of taking over Cersei, and then next season would be more about the Night King. So I'm excited to see more. Because I feel like the Night King is the imminent threat, like, of humanity, so they should focus on it, so I'm really excited to see where that goes. Yeah. So I'm excited. I hope the dragons go that way, and they're like, that'd be great. So let us know what your takeaway from the episode is and what you predict down below, because I'm super interested. And me and Ashley have been geeking out over this for like 24 hours.
I know. Oh my God.
It's been so good.
We need to talk about this more. Comment below. I will comment back.
This is like a half-hour long thing, but we're hyped. Like, I could talk for another half hour on this easily, but I'm going to cut it off there because I don't want to bore you guys. But comment down below. We'll check it out. Thanks for watching. And we'll see you on episode 5. Bye.